Hello and welcome to Fierce. This program celebrates the diversity of LGBTIQ identities and perspectives. Fierce is produced in Bundjalung Country at 2NCR Lismore and can also be heard on podcast at fiercefm.podbean.com and in New Zealand on Fresh FM, as well as all over Australia through the Community Radio Network. Fierce FM. I want to honour the traditional owners of the lands where you are living. They took care of these lands for thousands and thousands of years and then shared this land with us at great cost to their own lives. I want to thank them for the care they have given and continue to give, to sit on the earth, listen and care for country. I also want to thank the fairies and crones who came before us in history to fight for our human right to love fiercely. If you go down to Lismore today, you're in for a big surprise.
There's a bear in there.
Yeah, the tiger as well.
Yeah, tiger.
We're here with Rod, DjBigfurr.
That's me.
And Caleb.
I'm also Anita Lobotomy when I'm in drag.
That's right, and you've recently done a documentary all about you.
It was quite, oh my God.
How did that happen?
Doepel-stevens.
One of our friends asked me around my journey of being a drag bear and why I was doing the drag. I said to him, no way in hell. And then he kind of looked at me and batted his eyelids. And then I had to say yes.
She was into it.
Anita's journey came from working with the young people that I work with directly in a local career-friendly drop-in service. And I was noticing that a lot of the transgendered young people were having gender dysmorphia, not based on anything but stereotypes. They were being told boys have to drive the cars and wear blue and all that kind of stuff, and the girls had to wear pink and play with dolls, and it's kind of like that progression from the time when they're born to their teenage years when they suddenly realise they actually don't fit that gender mould. So Anita Lobotomy's message is to try and break that gender mould down and get people to actually start questioning their own gender. I actually am very non-binary when I'm in drag, so I'll put like a wig on and makeup on and look really glamorous, but I also have my hairy chest hanging out and my beard hanging, and I deliberately send up Disney princesses because I think that's probably the beginning for a lot of the female gender and the roles that they take on. They become idolised and look up to the princess from Frozen, and that's kind of like the beginning of the kind of gender brainwashing that happens with our young people. I deliberately send up the Disney princesses in my performance to say, well, actually, reconsider in our society the role of gender, especially for the young people that I work with who are struggling with gender dysmorphia, be perpetuated by society and social stereotypes.
Caleb, what was your Disney experience as a young person with gender?
Oh, I was crushing on all the princes. And I wanted to wear the dresses. I wanted the fairy godmother to go bippity-boppity boo and turn me into a princess with like glass slippers. Yeah.
Was it Cinderella or what was it?
Snow White. Yeah, like laying dead in the coffin and waiting for my prince to give me a tonguey so that I'd wake up. As a small child, I had a big crush on the black and white Tarzan movies. The big, strong, masculine man swinging in the trees wearing like a lap-lap.
Tarzan.
Always wanted to look under that lap-lap. So Tarzan was yours?
Tarzan was
Yeah, totally mine too.
You didn't have a Disney princess that you were wanting to go see? You didn't have a gender issue, you just liked Tarzan?
Love Tarzan. And, you know, because he was always out in the outback and nature, and that's my cup of tea. So, you know, in the jungle, the wild jungle.
But even that role, like, you know, in Tarzan with Jane being the little damsel in distress and Tarzan being the man, like, that's on to brainwashing us about our genders.
Yeah.
So listeners, when I'm in the garden, Jason calls me Tarzan.
So there you go. I forgot all about that.
And listeners, something you probably never hear, never know about, but very lucky here at the backstage of Fierce, we got to hear DjBigfurr sing before, and he sounded like Snow White.
High pitch.
Yeah, very high pitched.
And
tell us about your Disney experience as a young boy.
I've got to agree with Caleb. I really liked Snow White as well. I wanted to be her, and being surrounded, like she had all the dwarfs.
All the
and
daddies.
All the daddies, and that's like, these days I'm surrounded by all the boys, and, you know, and, you know, there are some girls there that admire me as well, you know, but I'm cool with that.
Disney was actually banned in my household as a child because my family are very much fundamental Christians, and there was all this magic and all this stuff happening in Disney movies that went against everything that my parents kind of stood for. So I wasn't allowed to watch Disney movies.
Yeah, you couldn't even watch TV at one
like,
stage. Yeah.
My first real Disney princess came when I was a little bit older, and that was The Little Mermaid. And I wanted to be Ariel. Being in a different world, having my Prince Eric, driving the ship through the heart of like the person I hated, who at the time was my dad, and yeah, like it was definitely The Little Mermaid, and that's why I did the performance on Mardi Gras night, was the Ariel parody. So
what an amazing, strong soul you are to grow up in that really strong and strict environment as a child, and then become fully yourself, unique and gorgeous.
Totally. Thank you. It's been a very big journey. I was forced to go to a conversion therapist and conversion workshops and stuff. And when I stopped doing that, I suddenly found myself homeless. At the age of 17, the conversion therapy wasn't working, and I was still very much a gay man. And like, my mum didn't like that, so she kicked me out of home. But what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Now I'm very passionate about the work that I do with the young people that I have the opportunity to work with. We can relate, and I can understand what's going on for them at home and how difficult their challenges are.
Yeah. Me and Caleb share a very similar story. I was kicked out of home because of my sexuality. I was sexually abused by a family member. When I told people about it, I was seen as a liar and troublemaker, and then I was assaulted by my family and then kicked out onto the street, and I was homeless from the age of 18. My parents are very strong Catholic background.
And the interesting story is that we grew up on the same bay.
I'm from Botany Bay, and he's from Ramsgate. So it's like so we shared we
grew up on Botany Bay together. Rod was on one side of the bay, and I was on the other side of the bay, and then we met 10 years ago in Katoomba.
It was amazing. Good story.
Basically,
You was meant to connect.
Yeah,
it was
that right time.
You said the key word there, connect. When me and Caleb first met, it was like sparks flew. It was like magic. I finally came home to my soulmate. No, we actually met, believe it or not, on Scruff. Yeah. Just talk on the phone. You just know, like you're into each other. And I was living in a boarding house in the Blue Mountains. I met Caleb. All I did was smile, and we gave each other a big hug and then a kiss, a passionate kiss, and it was just like wow, like amazing. We're both a lot bigger than we are now. My house was on a hill, and it had a big backyard. So me and Caleb walked down the backyard, and there was a lovely tree area. It was secluded, rays of light shining through the trees and stuff. I remember we were both puffed from walking down the hill, and we looked at each other and we were like...
Then he reached down and picked up a 3-leaf clover.
I ripped one clover in half and made it a 4-leaf clover and gave it to him.
You created the magic.
Yeah, he did. He created the magic. And I thought, fuck yeah, I like that. So in other words, I was a really good pig.
What does that mean?
Pig, eh?
I won't explain what pig means. I think you can work it out.
I see all these wonderful Facebook posts from you guys, and one that DjBigfurr put up recently was the 3 Little Pigs story. But instead of being the golden book that I knew as a child, it actually had three men a bit like these two.
Yeah.
Is that a real book?
I'm sure we could make it.
I'm sure we could make it into a real book. It was just a homoerotic illustration. Yeah.
We need a third bear and someone to hold the camera.
Okay, I'm holding the camera. And 3 bears.
No, but we need a wolf too, so you can't hold the camera all the time.
I'm the wolf. I know for you, DjBigfurr, the Oxford Hotel.
Yes, I was
and
a resident.
going in there as a young person and being welcomed with open arms and changing your life. Yeah.
There's a website called bear411.com, and we all would talk on there with other bears. And one of the founders of the Bear Nights, his name's Seamus, he reached out to me and he said, "Oh, we're having a meeting, come to the Oxford Hotel in Oxford Street. A bunch of us guys all hanging out." And I thought to myself, okay, it's just a couple of guys, holy hell, 200 bears, big burly bears, in flannelette shirts, leathers. DJ Dominic Freeman was on the door that night, and he opened the door, welcomed me, and all of a sudden everyone was like, "Who's that?" I felt a little bit scared at first, but they said, "Don't worry, you'll be right, come in." And everyone gave me a hug, and then all of a sudden everyone wanted to buy me a round of beers, and then the beers kept flowing, and before I knew it, I was very pissed, and I was very seduced, so to speak. Yeah.
Where did you wake up the next morning?
Oh no! I stumbled home. I stumbled home.
Ah, bullshit.
After back laneway thing happened, but yeah, it was a good experience. The bears opened their arms and welcomed me. And then it was my first real taste of bear culture. And then I was like, yeah, I want more. If this is what this is about, woof, I want to know more. And it was like I just said, woof then. I never knew what woof meant. It was all new to me.
I was doing the conversion therapy stuff and went to a psychiatrist in Katoomba Hospital. Turned around and goes, so you're gay? At the time, I wasn't 100% sure. I knew what I liked and stuff. It was more about the religious stuff. And I said, yeah, I think I am. And he goes, well, what you need to do is go down to the local shopping centre, buy yourself an outfit and go out on Friday night.
Yeah.
So getting the freedom, the guy just goes, go for it. And hearing that for me was enough for me to go on my own journey. And it's okay to be gay kind of thing. Like, it's not an evil
be
thing.
Who you really are.
You're not going to hell. Like, just be who you are and be the person that you're meant to be.
But usually when you go and talk to someone like a psychiatrist, they're just listening. And they're not really giving input. And
this guy was like, no, get yourself
you got the
an
key
outfit
to the Pandora box.
and go. And I ran.
And she went.
And I never looked back.
Yeah.
But it was quite, I needed it because the psychiatrist that I was seeing in the conversion therapy was saying how bad it was and how evil I was and how disgusting it was.
And that's so sad.
So finding it from someone else who's going to give me the freedom, I'm like...
Yeah. And like your parents... They probably realise there is a bit of different in sexualities happening with these guys.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so they're trying to stamp on
they
whatever
were.
their beliefs.
They were totally doing that.
Yeah. My parents, when I told them about my sexuality, I was like the devil or something.
Well, even more so.
Yeah.
Like you actually hooked up with a woman for 15 years and had a child.
Yeah. Because I thought... I went into denial... Because I thought what I was doing, because I was so heckled that it was so wrong, told it was so wrong, and I was like, wait a minute. No, how come I have feelings for men? How come I'm not overly attracted to women? Why do I like burly masculine men with 5 o'clock shadow beards and glasses and ink tattoos and like, you know what I mean? And that type of stuff. Like, why do I feel so comfortable being hugged by a big burly man? Why does it feel so right if I'm taught that it was so wrong?
We had to deal with our own conditioning.
That's right.
Yeah.
Totally.
And me too.
It's like I was programmed.
Yeah, so what was your upbringing like in a small country town?
So my parents are both Catholic, and then so you're brought up Catholic at the Catholic school.
Oh, so I hear that.
And so I knew that I was a good person inside, but there was something when I liked men and I saw pictures of men, I was attracted to sort of older men.
Yeah, exactly.
And thinking, no, this is not the right way to go. And you felt like an alien.
Yeah, you do.
Yes.
You got four, eyes or antennas growing out of your head.
And when I was 18, I used to hit the alcohol, and I'd be all this happy Jace, but I wanted to get up and dance, but I think no, that's more
the stereotype again.
The same poof to
Yeah, exactly.
So you would go back in your little hole again, sort of. It was tough, but I had a lot of sad moments and thought I was going to hell because
exactly
because I was the sexuality,
that pre-programming of the Christianity outlook. You know what I mean?
There's 100 and something religions. Someone's got it wrong, and it's man-made stuff that they've brought in as well on top. But
And what was your upbringing like, Peter?
I had to play soccer being a boy, but I used to get splinters because I was very lucky because my team was good, and so the ball was always at the other end of the field. And so I'd just be playing pole, climbing the goal post because I was the goalie because I was hopeless at it. So I was playing the goal, and I'd just get splinters. And I had to stop the game to get splinters out of my hand twice, 2 different days. I was teased a lot and bullied a bit.
Oh, that's not good.
And one day, Mum came to pick me up from practice, and that day there was these 2 boys there that had never been there before. I never saw them again because Mum took me out of soccer, but they were there and we were playing fairies and we were running around and they just let us go away and do other stuff instead of playing soccer. And Mum came to pick us up and I said, "Oh, bye my fairy friends." I waved and she goes, "Don't call them that, that's not right." And then I never got to do soccer again. But my mum's worst fear was bisexuality.
Oh, okay.
And so, of course, I came out as bi when I was 20 because because I'd been with women.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
exactly. I was like that as well.
So I was my mum's worst nightmare. But eventually, I know that she would have loved Jason if she ever got to meet him. And eventually, for other partners I've had in the past, that she stepped up, and I'm very blessed to have had a mum who loved me enough to really look at all her own imprinting and change it. But Jason and I were watching a movie the other night with Nicole Kidman and Russell Crowe.
Now that's what.
So that movie was
based on
about
true
conversion
story.
The
therapy.
Boy Erased.
Boy Erased.
Yeah,
Have you
yeah,
seen
that
that?
was-
It's totally like what I experienced. I experienced probably even worse so, to be honest.
Imagine.
They actually toned it down quite a lot in the Boy Erased movie for Hollywood. We were singing hymns about how evil we were, watching instruction videos on how to be straight. The role of the gender, females have to do this, males have to do that. You got to play your football, you've got to drink your beer and hang out with your mates.
Fight over the girl, you know, and all that type of stuff.
And it was trying to teach us our gender.
Thinking it's just a choice.
No, forcing it into us, brainwashing us,
Wanting you to fake it.
wanting
Fake
us
it
to
till you
fake
make
it.
Yeah.
So when I got that psychiatrist to prove in the midst of all of that bullshit, it was the best thing I could have ever gotten.
Yeah, it was like he got permission to just be real, be you, go for
Yeah.
it.
So I went and found me.
Yay!
Yay!
Listeners, the great thing is that they've moved to Lismore, and Lismore is more because they are here. Now you've got the Northern Rivers Bear Club happening up here. And then we got hit by
COVID-19.
this C word, which isn't really here, but we're in New South Wales, so the state's making us not do anything. It's like living in Footloose. We're not allowed to sing.
It is totally like Footloose.
Yeah, totally.
It's like
that.
1950s.
Yeah, it's like
Oh
the
my
clock's
God.
been wound back. It's like, I feel like all of a sudden it's like the rave culture suddenly is reborn.
Underground.
The underground's
property
coming back to life.
parties
Property
and-
parties, you know, hidden. We're gone behind closed doors again.
I like hearing that. I haven't heard that before because we've got this Pentecostal PM, and it's very much like the conversion therapy and all that stuff that we've been talking about.
Exactly.
It's
It's
the government
disgusting.
that we're in, where they want us to have very strong gender roles. And
2020, we need to do away with the roles of gender. So the 10-year-old Peter could be himself and play with his furry friends.
Yeah, like, I don't have
I
problem.
mean, what's the problem
Yeah.
with that?
it's very scary for the heteronormative to have people not being that. Is that right? They want us the same as them?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
totally.
absolutely.
It's not happening.
It's not happening because I love to put makeup on and
Definitely not
wear
happening.
Caleb's wigs and
It's
stuff
definitely
like that.
not. I'll back you, Jason up. It's definitely not happening. I refuse to be heteronormative. And why do they want us to be heteronormative?
We will
control
defy.
us.
We will defy.
No. It's not to control us. If we challenge white middle-aged male privilege, power.
I know, it's like Jesus was like a black homosexual man, but they're trying to make out he's a white guy, and it's almost as if like some sort of white racist misogynist is actually writing the Bible.
Yeah.
Exactly. I actually feel like it was made up. I believe like someone hit their head really
Well,
hard
I
one
think-
day and said,
No,
"Oh, I'm going to control them."
But I actually think Jesus was giving Peter gobbies for sure.
Oh yeah,
know, his fisherman
I
friend.
believe that too.
Like
I believe that too.
Judas betrayed Jesus with a kiss.
Yeah. I believe there was some kind of same sex going on between those
I
apostles.
mean, what other men in our community hang out with prostitutes and have fag hags?
And also travel together just with men in that time with very strong gender roles. They were very different men, and I guess a lot of men become monks or religious because there's nowhere else for them to be who they are.
Growing up as a Christian and then growing up as an adult with my beliefs and my experiences, and then seeing how priests and Catholic members were touching, molesting children and stuff, that really hurt
That's
me.
disgusting.
because-
That's actually got nothing
Yeah.
to do with homosexuality.
Exactly.
Or being attracted to the
Yeah,
same sex.
yeah,
but I think it's got a lot to do with the whole sexuality repression.
Like if that's your God,
Control
and
power.
if you believe in God and you go on to hurting children and doing stuff like that, then you can have. If that's your religion, you can have it. I don't want it because it's got nothing to do with me. Because myself, I was abused. You know,
And
so
like, how
yeah,
can you go to hell for loving someone?
yeah. I love my husband.
And Jesus says himself that love is the only thing that really matters. And then they're trying to teach us from a very small age, you can't be a fairy.
But
No, you can't do this, or you can't do that.
Aren't we blessed that we know that truth now?
Do we know the truth? I mean, men who love men and want to kiss men and hug men and lick men and kiss men.
cocks.
Well, they're not making good soldiers, are they? Because they're not going to be thinking about killing each other. They're going to be thinking about love.
And
Yeah.
creativity.
All we need
And
is
unity,
love.
brotherhood,
Dun, dun, dun.
But see,
community.
Yeah.
And then if you've got all men just being creative and knowing love and stuff like that, you all of a sudden don't have the power and the control.
Do you see any future where things will change?
I see a huge shift in the paradigm between a 30-year-old male's thinking and a 19-year-old male's thinking, and I'm really positive for our future. I actually think young people these days have a very clearer understanding of sexuality, gender, labels, non-labels.
Pronouns, whatnot.
I'm very impressed with the young people up and coming. But probably for the next 20 years until they've sorted out what they need to do with their life before they can actually settle down a bit. When they're about 35, 40, we're going to have a different society that we're living in.
Yeah, it'd be different.
It's just exactly like, say, and this is very general, a gay man that might be in his 80s has had to be closeted their whole life because it was kind of like you don't actually come out in like the 50s and 60s. So I think we are slowly moving towards a better community and a better society. We just need to get rid of people like ScoMo.
Yeah, ScoMo is
His name is Scummo. Thank you so much. Let me ask you about the Bears Club.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
happening next weekend.
Yeah, next
actually.
weekend. Because of COVID restrictions and everything, we're just toning it down a bit. It's not like a full-on dance party or anything like that. What we're going to do is provide music, a safe space where we can all hang out together.
And I would be performing again if I was allowed to dance, but as you said before, we're living in a footloose society where we're not allowed to dance. So it's going to be about hanging out, chilling out.
Friendship, brotherhood.
The men in the community who identify as bears haven't actually seen each other that often over the last couple of months.
We've all been locked away.
Yeah.
Hibernating in our caves.
Yeah, hibernating in our caves.
It's gonna
So, but also not just bears. I also like to put this to the community. I invite all of you to come and join us. Girls, guys, trans, whatever you're into, you're welcome at the Bear Club.
Yay!
Yeah,
Because we don't
discriminate. You're all welcome.
and we don't see gender.
We don't see
So
gender. Yeah.
as far as we're aware, everyone can be a bear.
August the 8th, the Northern Rivers Hotel, 5:30 p.m. till late. Music, food, friendship, fun. DJ
From
Vincible from Brisbane, he's going to come down.
Be coming down.
Yeah,
and
so
doing
from
a
the Gold
performance.
Coast Bears, in a couple of months, we're going to have DJ Bolt coming to Lismore. A big muscle bear DJ, very popular in the Sydney scene. He's well known for his retro circuit mixes, and he's got a really good podcast that he puts out. He puts out tunes.
I'd love him to put it
He
out.
puts out tunes.
I mean, I want him to put it in. What do you mean,
Oh
put
my
it out?
God.
Like,
Too much
there's no point in
information.
putting it
Hold
out.
on, we're not doing Three Little
Sorry.
Pigs right now. We're doing Fierce.
Oink, 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 oink,
Fierce. No, back to
oink.
Fierce.
Bears.
Thank you so much for coming on to Fierce and for sharing your love with us. While we're hugging, we're going to start going into the DJ BigFurr's bedroom to play his mix of a Kylie Minogue
Yes.
industry.
Promo only mix, remix, yep.
Kylie's coming to Jason and my wedding, and
Yeah.
Kylie
Yeah.
has heard this
Oh,
track.
congratulations on your wedding too.
Congratulations.
That's
Thank
only
you.
cool.
Yay!
That's awesome.
This track that I'm about to play is a special remix that I did for Kylie Minogue. I was approached by Osterwork Records. It was a private remix because they wanted to see what my capabilities as a producer. Let's listen to it.
I was gonna cancel, then I looked into the sky and knew the bad just won't stand the sunshine. I was gonna cancel, then took a sec to realize all the disappointment that would trail behind. I was gonna cancel, but then you reminded me of who I am. Everything is clearer than a mirror is the woman, just the same as a dog is the man. Sometimes from me saying I love you. It's nothing to kid about. Some people going through a struggle, trying to scribble it out. They say attention is a shovel. It's time to dig 'em out. You can't just let 'em stay in a bubble. They'll pop to get it out. What's going on?
Thank you for listening to Fierce. This program celebrates the diversity of LGBTIQ identities and perspectives. Fierce is produced in Bundjalung Country at 2NCR Lismore and can also be heard on podcast at fiercefm.podbean.com and in New Zealand on Fresh FM, as well as all over Australia through the Community Radio Network.
Fierce FM on Spotify.